Ready to get philosophical? Let's do it. Today, we are diving into Stoicism.
Okay.
But not the inner peace, chill vibes Stoicism you usually think of.
Oh.
We're talking about Stoicism and justice.
Interesting. Most people don't realize that justice played a huge role in Stoic thought.
Huge is an understatement from what I've seen in these sources.
Right.
It's like justice is the heart and soul of Stoicism, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. For the Stoics, justice wasn't just one value among many, it was the core virtue. It was the foundation for everything else.
That's kind of mind-blowing when you first hear it, right? Because
Okay.
you think of Stoicism, at least I do, and it's all about controlling your emotions, accepting what you can't control.
Bazillions.
Yeah. But the sources you shared make it clear that for Stoics, justice wasn't just some abstract idea, it was a way of life. It was a call to action.
Exactly. And one of the best examples we have of that is Marcus Aurelius. I mean, talk about a big name in Stoicism.
Yeah, Roman emperor, the whole deal.
And he very clearly says, justice is the source of all other virtues.
That's a pretty powerful statement. It's like he's saying you can't have any of the other virtues, you can't be courageous or wise without first being just.
That's exactly it. And it's
Yeah.
that commitment to justice that led so many Stoics to, well, actually take action, sometimes with huge personal risk.
Yeah, the sources you shared had some pretty incredible stories, like Cato the Younger.
Oh, absolutely.
This is a guy who didn't just talk the talk, he walked the walk. He saw Caesar, Julius Caesar,
Right.
as a threat to the Roman Republic, a threat to justice itself.
Hmm.
And Cato, he was willing to give up everything to stop him.
And he did. Cato's story is tragic, of course. I mean, he ultimately takes his own life rather than live under Caesar's rule. But it's also incredibly inspiring when you think about what motivated him. This wasn't just about opposing one ruler. This was about his unwavering belief in the importance of a just society.
Yeah, you don't often hear about someone so dedicated to an ideal, they're willing to die for it.
It really makes you examine your own life, your own principles. What would you be willing to fight for? What would you be willing to sacrifice for?
Big questions. And Cato's not the only example. There are others, like Thrasea and Agrippinus. And what's striking about them is they were in positions of power. I mean, these were senators, part of the system. They could have just gone along with the program, under Nero.
Nero. Talk about a tough time to stand up for what you believe in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they refused to stay silent. They saw the injustice happening around them, and they called it out.
And they weren't naive about the risks. They knew that standing up to someone like Nero could mean exile, imprisonment, even death. And yet they did it anyway.
It's like their conscience, their sense of justice wouldn't let them do anything else.
Exactly.
And these examples of stoicism and action, they're not just confined to ancient Rome. The sources you found, there were even connections to figures like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson.
Right. I mean, it's amazing to see these Stoic principles reflected in the founding of the United States.
It's like their dedication to forming a just government, their fight for liberty and equality. You can see those Stoic ideals woven throughout their writings and speeches.
Exactly. And it shows the enduring power of Stoicism. It's not bound by time or culture. These principles, this idea of justice as a driving force, it continues to resonate even today.
Which leads us to, I think, a question a lot of people have when they hear all this.
Okay.
Because on the one hand, we talk about Stoicism being about accepting what you can't control, accepting reality.
Right.
But then we see all these Stoics fighting for change. So how do those two things go together? How do you accept the world as it is,
Right.
while also fighting to make it better?
It is a paradox, isn't it?
It is. And the sources had this quote from James Baldwin that I thought was perfect. He said, I'm paraphrasing here, that you have to hold two seemingly opposing ideas in your mind at the same time.
Oh, tell me.
You have to accept life as it is, including all the injustice and unfairness. But, and this is the important part, you must never, ever accept those injustices as normal. You must fight them with every fiber of your being.
That's so good.
I know, right?
Because it gets at that tension, that balance that Stoicism is all about.
It does. And it shows that Stoic acceptance isn't about just giving in and saying, oh, well, that's just the way things are. It's about acknowledging reality.
Right.
But then using that knowledge to inform your actions, to actually go out and make things better.
Exactly. It's about understanding that, yeah, the world can be a messy, unjust place. Bad things happen. But we don't have to simply accept those injustices. We can use our Stoic principles, our wisdom, our courage, our sense of justice to make a difference, to fight for a better future.
And it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the problems in the world, to think, what can one person really do?
Oh, I hear that.
But then you remember people like Cato, Thrasea, Agrippinus. These were individuals who stood up for what they believed in, even when it was dangerous, even when it seemed like they were fighting a losing battle. And their actions, they had a ripple effect. They inspired others to act.
Precisely. Their stories remind us that change is possible. Even small acts of courage, of defiance, can have a huge impact.
It's like the source material said, a Stoic sees the world clearly, but also sees clearly what the world can be.
That's such a powerful statement because it reminds us that we're not just passive observers in this life. We have the power to shape the world around us, to make it more just, more equitable, more compassionate.
So true.
So the question for all of us listening is, what kind of world do we want to create? What injustices will we choose to confront? And how will we use our own Stoic spirit, our own commitment to justice to make a difference?
Leave them with something to think about. I love it. As always, thanks for the deep dive.
My pleasure.
In this grind called life, we hold our heads high. Through the stormy skies, we never say die. Facing every challenge like a stoic knight. With every step forward, we ignite the night. Bounce back from the falls, never showing no fear. In the darkest moments, our minds stay clear. With a heart of iron and a steady aim, we charge through the pain, never seeking fame. Keep it moving, keep it strong. Push it forward all day long. Stoic courage, battle on. Raise your voice and sing this song. From the valleys low to the highest peaks, we conquer the silence even when it speaks. Life's battles rage on, we never shy away. Standing firm in the fray, each and every day. Rhythm of resilience pounding in our chest. Fighting every battle, never taking rest. Stoic courage flowing in our veins. Through the joy and through the pains. Keep it moving, keep it strong. Push it forward all day long. Stoic courage, battle on. Raise your voice and sing this song. Bounce back from the falls, never showing no fear. In the darkest moments, our minds stay clear. With a heart of iron and a steady aim, we charge through the pain, never seeking fame. Keep it moving, keep it strong. Push it forward all day long. Stoic courage, battle on. Raise your voice and sing this song. Keep it moving, keep it strong. Push it forward all day long. Stoic courage, battle on. Raise your voice and sing this song.
Part of being hungry when you've been defeated, it takes courage to start over again. I used to do door-to-door sales, and I was working with another friend of mine. And door-to-door sales, I mean, it's punishing. It's cruel and unusual punishment. And I was a little boy knocking on the door. Hello, would you like to buy a nice working television set? No money down? No! Bam! They slammed the door in your face. And the friend of mine that was working with me, they slammed the door in his face, and I looked back and he was going to the car. He said, I can't do this. And he sat down in the car and he said, you go ahead, I'll be here when you get back. Now he had a mother and father to take care of him. My mother was ill. I am adopted. I was hungry. I had to go on. I learned something about myself. That when you step into your fears, somebody said, it was Winston Churchill, he said that courage is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. When you step into your fears and continue to push yourself to go on, something happens for you. It will enable you to transcend yourself. I went to the next door. You like to buy a nice working television? No! Bam! Went to the next one. No! Bam! After a while, I no longer took it personal. And I began to play a game. I said, well, I know there's a yes out here somewhere, and I'm going to keep on till I find it. And I'm not going home until I do. And I continue to knock on doors. And then somebody eventually would say yes. And I said, are you sure? And I would go in there and I would get the sale.
Never regret a day in your life. Good days give happiness. Bad days give experience. Worst days give lessons. And best days give memories. If you hate starting over, stop quitting. We are like many pellets of incense falling on the same altar. Some collapse sooner, others later, but it makes no difference. Marcus Aurelius. A house is not a home unless it contains food and fire for the mind as well as the body. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
You have to fight against weakness every day. Jocko Willink.
I had a difficult childhood, but there's no excuse for people not being able to do what they want to do. You can do anything that you want to do.
What do you really, really want from your life? If you had no limitations, if you had all the money and all the time and all the talents and all the abilities, if you could do or be or have anything, what would you really want in your life?
I'm going to have setbacks, I know. But if I'm feeling bad, that doesn't mean I'm doing bad. That doesn't mean I am bad. That doesn't mean that I can't still take some action. Because, yeah, nothing changes and nothing changes, man.
You're the backbone of this country. You're the backbone of the world. I don't care if you're in Asia, Africa, Korea, Japan. I don't care where you are, the United States. You are the leaders, the future leaders of this world.
Happen in life, folks. You cannot change your life unless you change something. If you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got.
The unfulfilled potential is the story of most people's lives.
It is. It is. And it could have been the story of mine. And I tell a lot of people go, what's your biggest fear in life? And my biggest fear, honestly, was, let's say this. Let's say, I don't care if you believe in God or not. I don't care. So this is play a game with me. Let's say you're God. And we have a big fucking long line of people. And I made it to heaven. I'm 75 years old. I'm 300 pounds. I made it to heaven. I worked for Ecolab my entire life, spraying for cockroaches. That's what I did. But I'm dead. I'm in heaven now. And you're judging us all now. So we're in line. We're all sitting there in line. And you have Adam Brown. He has a big board up.
According to the nature of the universe, all things particular are determined, not according to any other nature, either about compassing and containing, or within, dispersed and contained, or without, depending. Either this universe is a mere confused mass and an intricate context of things, which shall in time be scattered and dispersed again, or it is in union consisting of order and administered by providence. If the first, why should I desire to continue any longer in this fortuite confusion and commixtion? Or why should I take care for anything else, but that as soon as may be I may be earth again? And why should I trouble myself any more whilst I seek to please the gods? Whatsoever I do, dispersion is my end, and will come upon me whether I will or no. But if the latter be, then am not I religious in vain. Then will I be quiet and patient, and put my trust in him, who is the governor of all.
There is no such thing as chance, and what seems to us more accidents springs from the deepest source of destiny. Our friends show us what we can do. Our enemies teach us what we must do. What we achieve inwardly will change outer reality. Plutarch. No matter how much suffering you went through, you never wanted to let go of those memories. You cannot change the direction of the wind, but you can adjust your sails to reach your destination.
The best investment you can make is in yourself. Alex Hormozy.
You hear what I'm telling you? For a diamond to be produced, it has to go through extreme pressure, extreme heat. And if that wasn't enough, what makes a diamond is the cuts. So you are put through, if you want to be a diamond, you must go through extreme pressure. If you can't take pressure, then you're not a diamond. After you go through all the pressure you thought you could not handle, and you think it's over, then they turn on the heat. Of all the stuff I've gone through in my life, eating out of trash cans, sleeping in abandoned buildings. The worst thing that ever happened is when I went to the hospital and they told me my wife had a chronic illness and she might not be able to walk one day. People say, E.T., ask CJ, it never broke me. Why? Because I've been broken so much. I've been defeated so much. I've been disappointed so much in my life that I know what it feels like and I can handle it. It's your turn. You shouldn't feel guilty. It's your turn. It's your time. You've blessed everybody else. You've set everybody else for success. You've compromised you for them, and look where you are. It's time for you. And so for a lot of you, you're not doing nothing because you don't have any purpose right now. You don't have a sense of purpose. You're not waking up for nobody. And I need you to get that engine. I need that drive, because you know what to do. You're the right person to do it, but you just can't seem to get out of bed. You can't seem to do what you're supposed to do. Every time you come up against a trial or a tribulation, you let it stop you. You got to find your why, and your why is what's going to start you.
The wealth required by nature is limited and is easy to procure, but the wealth required by vain ideals extends to infinity.
Time spent comparing yourself to others is time spent on wasteful thoughts. Stay away from people who make you feel lonely. No company is better than bad company.